Moving on to our next question. I heard previously equitable academic outcomes and resources are a necessity. However, our next question states, we know that the time our students spend in school, as you all alluded to, is critical to their academic success. But I think we can also agree that a student's well-being outside of school directly impacts their ability to succeed in the classroom. Everything from access to stable housing, to their parents having a living wage, to their safety on the commute to school, and so much more directly affects student outcomes. And school districts alone, we can't solve all of these problems. So I ask of you as a school board member, how have you or how would you work with other individuals in collaborating or other entities to address these major issues impacting our children? Carrie, you're going to kick us off this time.
Yeah, thank you so much. This is an incredibly important issue. I agree, students can't focus on learning and get the best out of themselves if they're worried about what's going to happen to them when they get home, or if they're hungry, or if they couldn't sleep last night because they didn't have heat. All these things impact outcomes. And in a urban district like we have, a district with 35,000 students in it, we have a tremendous amount of this happening. And I think one amazing example of this happening today is Project Connect, which our current board is partnering with many agencies to have happen. It's a great example of ways to partner with others. I personally will continue to expand on this. I think finding outside resources is incredibly important. I think the work of community resource coordinators in our schools is important in this area because they can help to identify what those needs are on a very micro level, on school building level, so that we can identify students in need and what those needs look like and get them the services that they require. And then looking outside of just community partners, looking at government partners. So partnering with the county and with the city to get the resources we need as well is going to be, it's happening, but it can always be improved upon and expanded.
Thank you, Carrie. Kareem?
So I'm sorry, it's just unmuted. So I believe that the primary role of the district is to provide high quality education. Unfortunately, we have to deal with some of the things that impact how we deliver those services to our students. And that is inclusive of housing, that's inclusive of food insecurities, safety, because our students come to us with those things. So we have to continue partnerships. For the past 2 years, we've been working in partnership with the city, this Healthy Neighborhoods joint meetings we have with the city and city council, the city council and the school district. We meet every quarter. We talk about school issues and how the city can help us, and we inform the city on what some of our students are impacted by. We are talking about including in discussions with including the commissioners because it is not just simply a city issue, it is a county issue. We span 91 square miles, and so we want to include the county in this as well, and they are very open to that. I've worked with unions and will continue to work with my colleagues around increasing apprenticeship opportunities for our students. We know, and we are working this year, starting this year, to provide more career tech and workforce opportunities. We have unions that are able to service our students. And then lastly, we're working with those social service agencies that are already doing some of this work and helping them connect to our district.
Thank you, Kareem. We'll now move on to Marcia.
I totally agree that these problems that you have mentioned, housing, food insecurity, trauma, gun violence, all kinds of issues that our children face are horrendous, and they still are expected to come to school and to learn. So I think there's a great opportunity for us to partner not only with the current agencies that we have those relationships with, but with the city. These children belong to the city of Cincinnati and every other municipality that's represented in our district. So Yes, there have been meetings. Those meetings have been happening for years and years and years, but we need for those meetings to yield results. There needs to be some intentional work that comes out of the discussion, a pilot program or something that where you can have measurable goals to address some of these issues. And there's opportunities for that all around. So I will also pledge my work towards this because I feel strongly that the city has to partner with the school district on those things. So, and then the other thing I'll say real quickly is, despite the challenges, we still have to set a high expectation for our children to learn. I grew up on the west side of Chicago, experienced some of these same things, and we were still expected to learn when we got to school, and school was a safe haven for us. So we have to do that as well.
Thank you for sharing, Marcia. We'll now move on to Jim.
Yes, thank you very much. Yes, definitely the problem is bigger than the schools. We have a majority of students who are in economically challenged families, and many of these students suffer different types of trauma from neglect and homelessness and verbal abuse. So it's bigger than what the schools can handle. And I believe I am working and will continue to work on what I call collective impact. I'm did connect our superintendent with the chamber. I did connect our superintendent with the new president of the Greater Cincinnati Foundation. Those were connections that I think, as a board member, were important for me to make. I currently serve on the Business Advisory Council, where we're trying to find more and more internships and jobs that pay money for our juniors and seniors, because these kids need money just to get through the day. So collective impact. There's a program, Strive, that one of the advisors to Strive I've been talking with, but Strive is going to come back into place, and it's going to, I think they've targeted 2 schools, but one of the schools is a CPS school. Roll Hill is going to be an experiment for Strive coming back into Cincinnati. But collective impact is where lots of forces come together to make a difference. The business community, the hospitals, the universities, the city. We have a massive problem of economic challenge with many families, and it's just want to bring out all the resources to bear we can. Thank you.
Thank you, Jim. Brandon?
So this issue is one that touches me greatly because when I came to the board, one of the things I struggled with is the fact that we had kids traveling so far to school that we were moving kids so far to get them because of their housing instability, because they were not necessarily guaranteed to be in the same space. We had a lot of turnover in buildings. And what that leads to is students not coming. What that leads to is students not getting that exposure to the information in their classroom. When a student comes in hungry, they cannot focus. When a student comes in once every 3 days, they will not learn. What we know is that building up on the housing instability, the food insecurity, and safety issues is a struggle in our urban community, and especially an urban community the size of Cincinnati Public School District, where we travel all the way from Sailor Park to Mount Washington. And so what we have to do, and what I've fought to do, is ensure that as we make decisions in the district, that we're thinking about how those things work with those kids who need this most. The multilingual learners who are going to have a difficulty in finding a safe way back home after school. How do we find resources to ensure that our parents and families are part of that education process, whether that's after school education or in school education? What are the steps that we can do to really make sure that we're addressing those issues as much as we can through our social workers and our community resources, but also not reinventing the wheel?
Thank you all for your excellent thoughts.